Robert Kiyosaki with my dear friend's daughter here, Alexa, and we're talking about money, some lessons. I don't have any more, but let's continue on with another lesson here. And so we were talking about your assets and liabilities, right?
Yeah.
And when you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I said your house is not an asset, what did you think?
Well, I think that's a conception that many people believe. But as you demonstrated at the last seminar that we went to in Argentina, my mom had her properties and she converted them into assets.
Right.
I think it just depends on what you do with it, and it would be great if you could show us how to turn your house into an asset.
It's really fundamental. So if I could go back, I probably covered it earlier, but it's a crucial question. And this is what financial education and financial literacy really is. Again, it starts with a financial statement. And I would say probably 95% of all college graduates don't know what a financial statement is. You took an accounting course, right?
Yeah, I did.
And I did parts of this. But I say to young people like you, there's 6 basic words to financial literacy and financial education. And the 6 words, again, are income, expense, asset, liability. See, I don't really care about my FICO score. A FICO score just basically registers, are you trustworthy with borrowing money? But a bank will never say, I borrow in the hundreds of millions of dollars. A FICO score, not gonna get me there, okay? And so it's kind of a ruse. I mean, it's important, but not for me. So these are the 4 words, income, expense, asset, liability, and the last 2 words are the words cash flow. And that's why the game is called cash flow. And the secret to being rich is not a college education, but can you control cash flow? And this is what cash flowing looks like. So this here, you need this, income, expense, asset, liability. Again, this is, you get a job. And this was my poor dad, go to school, get a job, get your PhD. And so this here is cash flow. So the income comes in, and it goes out this way. First line of expense is tax. So this is a poor person's cash flow pattern. It's not how much money you make. Most people, I don't care if you have a PhD or no school at all, but they can't control the cash flowing out through their expenses. And so that's why people like Susie Orman say, cut up your credit cards, live below your means. And this is where the house comes in. First thing, most kids do when they get the pay raise or that, they buy themselves a bigger house. Oh, my house is an asset. Now, who tells you that? Your real estate agent, of course.
Yeah.
Right? Because they want to give you this false sense of security while you're getting screwed.
Exactly.
But when you look at what happens with a house, a personal residence, something I live in, the money comes in and goes out, and this is middle class, but it also goes out through a mortgage payments. Oh, but I don't have a mortgage. You still have taxes. You still, Hawaii just raised their property taxes on me, which is probably what I'm going to sell. I'm going to get out of Hawaii. But you have taxes and you have upkeep. So money's always flowing out. So that's why your house is not an asset. It's because it's taking money from your pocket. So very simply said, assets put money in my pocket. Liabilities take money from my pocket. And then this here is, so I'm not saying don't buy a house, but here is a house. And I started when I was 25, bought my first house. And it was an apartment. It was an investment property. I didn't live in it. I rented it out. And it put money in my pocket. So very simple, the definition of asset and liability is not the house or this, it's cash flow. Where is the cash flowing? So as a young person, and to all millennials or if you're old, financial intelligence is the ability to control cash flow. And that's what they don't teach you at school. They tell you to go to school, get a job. First thing is tax. You'll pay, most of your money will go out through taxes in your lifetime. And then they tell you to buy a house and a car. A car is an asset. No, a car is a liability. You got insurance, gas, upkeep, and all this. Now, if you buy a taxi car, it could be an asset. It's cash flow. And that's very simply it. So this is a poor person. Money goes out. There's a lot. We just interviewed some National Football League players who make millions of dollars in their 20s. And most of them are broke in 2 years because they can't control cash flow. Intelligence, IQ, is can you control cash flow? Not your college degree. College degrees are important, but they're not going to teach you this. So the cash flow game trains you over and over and over and over again to get your money in here to get cash flow this way. So I started with this. It cost me $18,000. I paid for it with a credit card, and I put $25 in my pocket. Okay? It's an infinite return because the cash flow paid for the mortgage, it paid the expenses, pays the operating costs, and I still made $25. Kim's first deal was the same. Hers wasn't $18,000, it was $50,000, $45,000. And they put $25 in her pocket. But Kim now owns 6,500 rental properties, and she pays no tax because the income comes from here. If you have a job, you pay tax, but the rich get richer because when you have asset income, taxes are less. You can get it down to 0 if you want. But that's financial intelligence. But can you control cash flow? Okay. So say it again. Assets what?
Assets put money into your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket.
And so as a young person, you just focus on that. So when you're buying a new house, you got to say, is this going to take money or put money? You buy an apartment house, is it going to take money or put money? That's it. It's cash flow. Six most important words for financial intelligence and IQ is income, expense, asset, liability, but it's really cash flow. Now, if I could bring up a more horrible subject, is, do you think people can be assets or liabilities?
I think they could be both, to be honest.
So for most young people, they fall in love, they get married, they have kids. Is a child an asset or liability?
A child is definitely a liability.
Now, I'm not saying don't have kids, but you got to think, the kid is expensive, and they don't get cheaper. They get more expensive every year. Then they go to college, and then it gets even more expensive. So a human being, and that sounds horrible to all the socialists and communists out there, but the fact is, kids cost money. But as an old guy, I want you to think about this. As I get older, as people get older, family members become liabilities. So I have a friend whose mother, thank God she had long-term, I don't know what they call it, but they just canceled it on her. She can go to a old age home, and I think the price is $18,000 a month. So that if, as a young person, as your parents get older, the question is, can I afford to spend $20,000 a month on my mom or my dad's long-term health care? Yes or no?
No, not right now.
No. So, and this is going to happen to my generation. Many people don't realize, but their brothers or sisters' kids and all this become liabilities to them. So as a person who's fairly well off, I'm, and Kim and my friends are thinking about two-legged liabilities. So I know today that if my sisters become ill, I'm the one with the money, and it's my responsibility to pay for them. Same as my brothers and their kids. So these are things that people don't think about a lot of times, is what happens not only as they grow up, but what happens as they age. Statistics show the average person, like my generation, let's have $1 million, 80% of that $1 million will be gone in the last 2 years of life because medical expenses go through the roof. And today insurance companies are canceling, I forget the name of it, but my friend's mother, it was just canceled. So he doesn't have $18,000 a month. So he had to bring his mother into his house and create another room and all this. He said, well, I love her, which he does, but she's a big liability. And all he had was savings. So the savings are being depleted going out this way. Okay, so but your question about houses and people, but people are assets and liabilities. So this is the basic of financial intelligence, financial literacy. I have two friends right now who just joined the $1 Million Club. And they married beautiful women, got divorced, and the woman is now costing $1 million a year in alimony. So their beautiful wife and the child support, it's $1 million going. That makes sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Financial IQ is, can you control cash flow? IQ means how big a problem can you solve? So if, like my friend whose mother is now costing him $18,000 a month, well, thank God he has about $100,000 in savings, but in 1 year it's gone.
Yeah.
That's not high IQ. But for myself, $18,000 a month, I can go make that much cash flow pretty easily.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're like in your 20s, you're thinking, well, how am I going to make, let's say, by the time you're probably $100,000 a month to take care of my parents? Because like it or not, it's cash flow and they become liabilities. And the problem is getting worse because the bond markets are not providing income. So many insurance companies have to renege on their promises to provide the cash flow to take care of our loved ones. The same as medical. Wow. And so that's why when people say, I'm going to go out on my own and do all these things, they're kind of doing what they love, which is good. But they've really got to think about how many liabilities do they have. It's not just your rent, it's your family. And so for me and for Kim, we have family members, but they're liabilities. So that's why we stay over here. Hopefully nothing will go wrong. But if one of my sisters got ill and she needs $100,000 a month, at least I can provide it. Yeah. Otherwise, they go indigent, whatever they call it. Okay. Yeah. Any other comments or questions?
No, thank you for sharing so much about this content and all this information that's going to be super valuable for all my friends and all the millennials out there just like me.
So I have two friends who are now the $1 Million a Year Club. It doesn't mean they're making $1 million. It's their wives are taking $1 million a year out of their pocket and their kids and all this. And I go, you should have thought about that 20 years ago. But you don't, because you're in love and you're going to have kids and you're going to make it together. Mm-hmm. But your parents are great role models. So once again, there's 6 words you have to know and be masters of: income, expense, asset, liability, cash flow. You can control cash flow. That's financial intelligence, financial IQ, and financial literacy. Okay? Okay. Thank you.